Watch this.
It's official. Congress voted to eliminate public broadcasting funds for the first time in nearly 60 years. And despite voicing support for local stations in the past, Idaho's congressional delegation voted in favor of the rescission because of other things that were set to be cut. After freezing billions in education funds, the freeze is over. Feds are backing off, at least a little, $1.3 billion finally heading back to the states. With the new Warm Springs Golf and Grill set to get going, we are giving you an early sneak peek, weeks ahead of the official facility opening. It is official. The United States Congress has voted to strip away more than $9 billion in federal spending. Late last night, the House passed H.R. 4, the Rescissions Act of 2025. It was a narrow margin in the final vote in the House, 2016 to 2013. It now heads to the president's desk. He's already indicated he's going to sign it. He called for it to start with. And most of the package is really a cut to foreign aid. But a big part of this bill was a line item with a local impact. $1 billion in funding for public broadcasting is now gone. And if you're thinking, so what? Well, we'll explain. In rural Idaho, places that don't have high-speed internet sometimes, public broadcasting isn't just Sesame Street and Masterpiece Theater or your favorite over-the-air shows. It's often the only reliable source for emergent news and emergency situations in places where broadband is spotty or cell phone service is a myth. Well, the Senate passed the bill early Thursday morning, just after midnight, and both of Idaho's U.S. Senators, Jim Risch and Mike Crapo, they did vote in favor. And so that sent the amended version back to the House, which approved it again late last night. Idaho's congressional delegation in the House, Congressman Mike Simpson and Russ Fulcher, they supported the overall body of cuts there. So if the president signs it, and all signs say he will, it would be the first time in nearly 60 years that the federal government has zeroed out funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, so funding for NPR and PBS. Congressman Mike Simpson releasing a statement about the cuts as a whole, saying, in part, supporting the rescissions package presented to Congress is a first step towards restoring fiscal responsibility, and we aim to continue that effort through the appropriations process. Senator Mike Crapo also saying in support, I cast my vote in support of rescinding funds for wasteful foreign aid programs that have deviated from the original intent or that do not promote American interests. After a lot of pushback and a lawsuit from 20 states, the federal government is releasing some education funds that we told you about. They were frozen earlier this month. The Trump administration has held back more than $6 billion meant for things like after-school and summer programs, adult literacy, and English language instruction, all while it is reviewed whether the spending aligned with White House priorities. But now the Department of Education says it is ready to release $1.3 billion of that specifically for after-school programs, and that includes $6.5 million for the state of Idaho. That money pays for free before and after school care, mostly for low-income families and rural communities where options are limited. It also covers tutoring in math and reading and even enrichment in science and the arts. Idaho Superintendent of Public Instruction, Debbie Critchfield, put out a statement this afternoon right after the announcement saying, in part, this is great news for schools and communities. This particular grant directly benefits students across Idaho by supporting school and community partnerships that provide high-quality after-school and summer learning programs. 10 Republican senators urged the administration to unfreeze the funding, calling those programs critical and bipartisan, but nearly $5 billion in other education grants is still on hold and being reviewed. And that lawsuit, by the way, led by California, it is still moving forward. Weekend is in view. Maybe you already kicked off your weekend. Thanks for joining us here on the 208. And there's a lot of great things to do across the valley. And soon there will be a great new option in the city of Boise. The Warm Springs Grill and Golf is set to open at Warm Springs Golf Course in a few weeks. And the Director of Parks and Recreation, Doug Holloway, he showed us some of the features as the final touches are being put on down in Boise. So
we're in our new facility here at the Warm Springs Golf Course. We call it our Warm Springs Grill and Golf. This has been, the construction, we actually broke ground on this in May of 24, but it's been in the works for 50 years.
Yeah.
So that's how old the old pro shop is. And it was really originally designed and put in place really with the idea that at some point there would be a much more sophisticated and larger facility there. I've been at the city 24 years, and I think we've been looking at drawings and looking at how we could get this built for the last 22 years of that 24-year tenure here. Where we're at now is in the pro shop. This is where golfers would come in through the front door, and they would come in here. This is where you would check in. This is where you could buy supplies. As you can see, we're pretty well stocked up here in anticipation for a hopeful opening by the end of July. This is our restaurant piece. We have here what we would consider grab-and-go pieces, so like wraps, quick sandwich, a quick beverage, and then you're off, back out on the course. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. The menu is pretty simple, but really good for what we're looking at accomplishing here. It's family-friendly facility, so we have a family-friendly menu, very affordable. The purpose of this entire facility is to make it a community gathering space. This is our patio space. We really wanted to make this a usable space more so than just for the shoulder seasons, right? If it's really hot in the summer or it's a little bit chillier in the wintertime, we really wanted to try to make it something that we could use year-round as long as people can stand the weather, right? We're anticipating a lot of users coming down the Greenbelt, hopping off, coming over, enjoying a beverage of some sort here and maybe a meal, and then hopping back on the Greenbelt and away they go. So, so this really is truly been designed to fit the community, truly designed to fit our golfing community. And we really want this to be a destination location where people are like, have you been to the Warm Springs Grill and Golf? Had a donor step up and provided us a $3.5 million gift that really kicked this off. And Mayor McLean, when that gift came through, she basically told myself, our finance team, you're gonna make this happen. Yeah. It wasn't like, hey, we got 3.5, do you think we can make this work? She said, we're gonna make it work. And we already had $2 million in our reserve account here at Warm Springs that we've been squirreling away over several years. So that gave us $5.5 million to start with. We borrowed $850,000 from a reserve account with Idaho Ice World. So thank you, hockey players out there, that you helped contribute to get this done. And then the balance of that, which is almost the total cost of this, is close to $12 million. So the balance of that came from an internal loan from the city, where the golf course revenues will pay that back and pay Ice World back over a 10-year period. And that's how we got it done. So you can see the cobbling together to make it work, but it worked. And we're here today now to look forward to the dedication.
So it's a facility for the entire community, not just golfers. However, golfers, we do have a little bit of insight for you. There will be new golf carts, state-of-the-art, high-tech, that will be on the course shortly. They have built-in speaker systems as well as a video board system within the cart. Very cool. The carts are also like geo-fenced, so people can't steal them. They're able to cut the brakes right on them. Very cool. Go check it out. It should be open in a few weeks. Renovations are underway at Fairview Park in Boise, and downtown Boise will be buzzing with some of the fastest professional cyclists in the world. Aspen Shumpert, she got the 411 on the 208.
At least 3 people are dead after an apparent explosion this morning at a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department training facility. The facility is about 5 miles east of LA City Hall. A statement from the county supervisor said, quote, "Devastating news of tragic loss of life this morning at the Sheriff's Training Center. I'm praying for the families, colleagues, and loved ones of those killed," end quote. The cause of the explosion is under investigation. Fairview Park in Boise is getting some upgrades this summer. The hope is to make the park more accessible for everyone. Demolition is underway as crews are tearing up basketball and tennis courts and removing bark and playground equipment. The upgrades include a new walking path, new play equipment for younger and older kids, new court surfaces, and upgrades to the restrooms. The focus is on access for all abilities. Parks and Rec says the struggle with maintaining older play equipment is parts become difficult to replace.
Every year we kind of look through our inventory and try and project what playgrounds need to be replaced and look at the conditions of our courts and determine what courts need to be replaced. And Fairview Park's actually been on our list for a few years.
The cost to upgrade Fairview Park is about $1.8 million. That money is coming from the city's general fund. Parks and Rec asks everyone to enjoy the space but stay out of the fenced-off areas. The 38th annual Bailey Glasser Boise Twilight Criterium is returning to downtown Boise tomorrow. Some of the fastest professional cyclists in the U.S. will be passing through downtown Boise. However, there are ways for everyone to take part. The day will start with a kids' ride at 11 a.m. for ages 3 through 10. You can also get a taste of local vendors starting at 1 p.m. Then the pros will hit the downtown Boise circuit starting at 5:45 p.m. And that's the 411 on the 208. I'm Aspen Shumpert.
A new solar-powered car is getting closer to hitting the roads. A West Coast company will soon begin production. And get this, if you drive less than 30 miles a day, you don't need to plug the car in to charge it, like at all. Brooke Martell takes a ride in the first of its kind car.
It's the first of its kind, a solar-powered car. And when you see it out on the roads, you're probably going to want to take a second look. It looks like a spaceship out of a sci-fi movie.
Well, the vehicle looks more like a fish than a box.
Equating to 350 miles per gallon and driving on 3 wheels, the Aptera is powered by the sun.
The great thing about being solar powered is you're not taxing the grid every time you need to charge your EV. You just leave the Aptera outside. Every day it puts 40 more miles of power back in the tank. And if you only drive 30 miles a day, technically you would never have to plug your Aptera in.
Chris Anthony is the CEO of Aptera. He describes the build like a Formula One race car that is technically a motorcycle with its 3 wheels outside of the body and an aerodynamic design for more efficiency.
The solar on this vehicle only adds about 8 pounds of weight to the vehicle. It's very, very lightweight. And you would think that something that's so flexible is plastic, but it's actually glass.
Then there's the body of the car, made of carbon fiber and incredibly lightweight.
And it's made of only 6 parts. There's a tub, there's a roof spider, there's a cap, and there's 2 sides. It doesn't need to charge from the grid. You can just leave it outside. And when it does, it just takes a trickle of the power that a regular EV would.
If you're wondering why you haven't seen these out on the roads yet, it's because these are validation vehicles that are used for testing and calibration.
So that's the process we're in now. Every day the vehicle's out driving, testing, going through software tests and firmware tests and hardening the hardware.
But that doesn't mean there hasn't been interest. The company's crowdfunding has gathered over 20,000 investors and is working towards more production funding.
Yeah, Aptera has over 50,000 reservations now, and we're hoping, to deliver those very quickly, but realistically it'll take us a couple years to just fill that initial backlog.
Thousands of drivers from 115 countries who are waiting to get behind the wheel of this solar-powered car.
But it's better for the environment, it's better for the world, we think it's better for transportation in general.
Have you heard of happy hour? Of course. But what about Cappy Hour? That's not just a cute name. It's a full-on experience with capybaras, otters, and lemurs, all for a cause that'll warm your heart as much as your Instagram feed. Jeff Zevely takes us down the lazy river to Southern California, where cuddling critters helps grant wishes.
Welcome to the lazy river, where things are about to get wet and wild.
You haven't lived until you snuggle with an adorable otter.
You can see everything in the world on your computer screen, but you don't have that connection to it.
Nurtured by Nature is where a love for animals collides with a passion for helping children from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is all in the family, huh?
It's all in the family.
Wendy and Kevin Yates and their daughter Mandy provide smiles to sick children.
They have so many difficult things in their life that they are going through.
Children from Make-A-Wish have come here 300 times and paid nothing.
You can have such a big impact on someone for just that one day.
How crazy are otters?
1, 2, 3. Crazy.
Otter swims may have put Nurtured by Nature on the map.
This is worth the price of admission.
But there's a new furry face in town.
People love capybaras right now, and they're like the it animal.
Good girl.
Capybaras are the world's largest rodents, and they love to swim. About to get a belly flop. It's all part of a new experience called Cappy Hour.
Originally, you were playing hard to get, and now I've got a best friend.
During your visit, a nature walk allows you to meet the whole gang.
So we've got capybara, we've got paca, we've got sloth.
More than 200 animals live on 5 acres of Palma Valley paradise.
Are things about to go bananas?
They're certainly about to go bananas.
Here in Trader John's Jungle Outpost,
I like to eat apples and bananas.
you'll hand feed ring-tailed lemurs.
How about that?
This 3-hour experience isn't cheap. It's $500 per person. But that money pays for the care of these precious animals and allows all of the children from Make-A-Wish to visit for free. And when those kids leave, they often say,
This was one of the best experiences of my life.
It's so special. They're awesome little creatures.
My forearms are actually tired from a 10-minute belly rub.
She's so happy.
if you'd like to cuddle with capybaras and pay it forward for a sick child to do the same,
I should be getting paid for this.
Right?
it's always Cappy Hour on the lazy river.
This is happy hour.
In the Zevely Zone, Jeff Zevely, CBS 8.
Well, in the Treasure Valley today, it has been very dry, hot, and hazy, but around other parts of the region, south central Idaho, the eastern side of the state, even the central mountains, you can see there's quite a bit of activity going on out there. We have active storms bringing some moisture, but also lightning, which is a fire risk. So critical fire conditions, especially in south central Idaho and southeast Idaho. There could be wind gusts up to 40, 50 miles per hour potentially from those storms. Those would be some outflow winds. And then with that lightning striking, it could start a fire on the really dry land from that dry weather that we have been having. Air quality has been impacted a little bit as well in Twin Falls and Pocatello, though. Their air quality has improved because of those storms. Meanwhile, it's still only moderate in the Treasure Valley. Tomorrow, we will hopefully cool down a few degrees, looking at 93 for the high and low 90s for the entire weekend in Boise.
Thanks, Adrielle. You can see climate change in stronger storms. You can feel it in longer heat waves. But now, scientists say you can actually hear it. Researchers from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography just wrapped up a 15-year study listening to the ocean, and what they heard says a lot about our planet.
When it comes to climate change, we can see it with much larger storms. We can also feel it with heat waves that last longer. But now, in a paper just released from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, scientists here say they can hear the effects of climate change in the ocean.
So there's what it would sound like if a container ship's going nearby, and that sound's going to propagate really far.
Kieran Lenson is a research and development engineer at Scripps Institution of Oceanography and collaborated on the paper.
So this was a 15-year study looking at climatic and economic factors, looking at soundscapes, sound across the ocean.
The ongoing research listens to natural and man-made sounds in the ocean.
We're able to see blue and fin whales when they come in the area, and then when big events like global recessions or a marine heat wave comes through for a few years, we can see how those populations move over time.
During the ocean heat wave of 2014, a significant number of fin and blue whales left the waters off Southern California.
Those levels decreased by about 50%, but levels at our more northern sites where it's colder water, the fin and blue whale sound levels went up.
Scripps designed and built the equipment.
This is our hydrophone, so we have a sensor up here, and these are constantly having data or recording sound, and it's coming down, getting amplified here, and then it gets saved in this. This is what we call our data logger.
More than a half dozen pieces of equipment are located in the Bight of Southern California, collecting data nonstop, which is retrieved every 6 to 12 months, and the hydrophones hear everything.
So this is a great example of noise pollution in the Santa Barbara Channel, and this is happening daily, multiple ships coming through.
Which is how Scripps could hear the slowdown in the economy.
So here in 2008, we hit the economic recession, and this red goes down pretty dramatically.
What the Scripps research does is establish a baseline for the future.
This shows the importance of that 15 years so that we can see these bigger changes.
With over 15 years of information collected from the oceans, the folks here at Scripps will continue to put their equipment in the ocean to listen to the data that it has to offer up. Sean Stiles, Earth 8.
Floodwaters rose and Texans answered with courage. Special show, you can watch Hearts and Heroes flooding in the Texas Hill Country and help those still in need. You can stream tonight at 6:30 on KTVB+. And don't forget, we have 2 extra hours of Wake Up Idaho every weekday, streaming live for you weekdays from 5 to 9 a.m. Join us on KTVB+ for even more weather, traffic, and headlines. If you want to watch anything on KTVB+, you can download for free today. Just grab it on your smart TV in the App Store. All right, time for a few questions, comments at the end of the program. Larry writes, do the solar-powered cars meet federal crash requirements? Larry, I looked it up for you. According to their website, they do. We will see, though, when they actually hit the streets. And then Samantha says her mom's cousin is part of the Nurture by Nature. Great program for the Make-A-Wish kids. All right, have a great weekend. See you soon.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.